After we've done area of squares and rectangles, it's not a big jump to do area of parallelograms, because a parallelogram is pretty similar to a rectangle. If we look at this picture, we remember here that a rectangle has a base and a height, and we would multiply those together to find the area. But if I took that rectangle and pictured taking like this triangle away from my rectangle and scooching it over to the other side, I really wouldn't be changing the area of that shape. I just moved a piece of the area to the other side. But when I did that, it created a new shape called a parallelogram. But that shape had the same area. So you might remember that the formula for area of a parallelogram is the same as for area of a rectangle, base times height. But you have to be a little careful which is the base and which is the height. The base will be the bottom, but the height has to make a 90-degree angle. And since parallelograms are on a slant, we're going to either do that height inside the parallelogram or sometimes outside the parallelogram, but always with a 90-degree angle. Base times height. Just like before, we're going to do the perimeter and the area of each shape, so you got to make sure you choose the right numbers. Perimeter is plus, and it's going around the whole shape. So 11 plus 11, which is 22, plus 8, so 22 and 16 is 38 millimeters. For the area, I'm going to multiply the base, 11, times, 7. 7 times a 7 is 77 meters squared. Making sure I'm choosing the right numbers. 12 plus 10 plus 12 plus 10 is going to be 44 centimeters. But when I go to do the area, I'm going to multiply 12 times, you're right, 8. 12 times 8 is 96 centimeters squared. And onwards we go. So here I've got 13.5 and 8 and 13.5 and 8. So that's going to be what? 27 and 16 is what? 43 yards? Yep. And then if I choose the base and the height, base is 8 and the height that goes with that is 12, and 8 times 12 again is 96 yards squared. Here for the perimeter, 20 plus 14 plus 20 plus 14 is 68 feet. And then the base times the height is, you're right, 14 times 14, 196 feet squared. Sometimes it's a little tricky, so in number 5 I have a little note, watch the units, the base is 1 foot, the height is 5. Can't fool you, you know, oh, I have to have both in inches. So 12 times 5 is 60 inches squared. Area squarea. Here it looks like I have to count. Oh, it's written for me. 4 is the base, 5 is the height. 4 times 5 is 20. If there's no units, I usually write units squared, but it would be okay if you just did 20. Now they gave me the area is 72. What would the height be? What would I do with those two numbers? Right, you would divide. So this turns out to be 6 inches. Same thing with number 8. 5 times 6 equals 30 meters squared, right? So you're just dividing 30 divided by 5. Now, this is the first time we're introducing total area and comparing it to shaded area. Total area we had before is always adding. So I'd find the area of the rectangle, 10 times 5, is 50 feet squared. The area of the parallelogram, 4 times 3 is 12 feet squared. And I'm going to add those numbers up because I'm putting a total together of 62 feet squared. It's adding those areas up. When I have shaded area, it's a little bit different. So the area of the parallelogram here is 12 times 7, which is 84 feet squared. The area of the rectangles on the inside is 9 times 5, or 45 feet squared. And now I'm going to subtract. And these are always going to go together. Shaded, subtract. You hear me say that a lot. Shaded, subtract. Because I'm pulling out that shape in the middle. So if I subtract those, I get 39 feet squared. Another shaded one. Rectangles, 10 times 7, or 70 feet squared. In the middle is the parallelogram. 8 times 3 is 24 feet squared. When it's shaded, I subtract, and it's 46 feet squared. So total is adding, shaded is subtracting. Area of a parallelogram.